Previously on Comic Showcase. My second retrospective covering Marvel's past has officially come to a close. I hope you've enjoyed it, and...
Halt, yon Marvel fanboy of bias so clear and true!
What? Who said that?
Over here, buddy.
Oh, it's you. And now the continuation. Hail, it's been a while since I've been interrupted by my good friend Harmonica Jay. I didn't really expect him to interrupt me like that at the end of my last video.
Were you expecting Linkara or the last angry geek?
Oh, that would have been nice. So tell me, why are you here? What do you want? And why are you copying Lee from Still Gaming?
Who?
Long story. Just go here.
How are you doing that exactly?
But viewer powers. With it, I can do anything. I can even change your picture.
No, you! Oh, that's real mature. Don't make me hurt you! Oh, come on!
You're in my world now, buddy. And it's all because you showed up in my video.
I can tell we're going to be an unconventional double act. Anyway, I'm here because I want to ask you something. Why you've never reviewed anything outside Marvel Comics? Why is it always Marvel this and Marvel that?
I have reviewed DC Comics before. 3 of them, in fact. One of them involved the cream of a country's manhood. I really don't want to visit that hombre again.
First off, don't ever say cream of a country's manhood ever again. Just don't. Second, what about the other comics? I mean, I get that Marvel has a few good ones these days, but have you ever thought about, I don't know, something other than Marvel or DC?
Sure, I can do something outside of my comfort zone. What do you have in mind?
Huh. I was expecting Resistance, and then we argue over it or something.
Reviewer battles have become so cliche at this point. Besides, I have the home court advantage.
Okay, let's talk about Quantum and Woody.
Good night, everybody!
This...
Oh, Quantum and Woody, a comedic duo first appearing in 1997 in the pages of Valiant Comics. Interesting choice.
No, I thought...
That I didn't know about these guys? Come on, I may be a Marvel fan, but at least I know who several popular characters are. But since this is your idea, why don't you fill in everyone about who these characters are?
Thank you for being so gracious. Anyway, Quantum and Woody, created by Christopher Priest and M.D. Bright, was published in 1997 by the recently restarted Valiant Comics. It starred 2 former childhood friends, Eric and Woody, turned superheroes who needed to clank their metal gauntlets together after being turned into pure energy by a freak science accident. The book ran for 17 issues from 1997 till 1998 after Valiant was bought by Acclaim Entertainment.
Acclaim. That sounds familiar.
Yes, a comic company was bought by a game company. Guess for what reason?
It wasn't to bring him out of bankruptcy like our friend Mickey, was it? La!
Yep.
After those heinous things saw the light of day, the world thought they heard the last of Valiant Comics until they returned in 2012. When they did, the company rebooted all of their characters, much like DC Comics did in 2011. Along for the ride, of course, was Quantum and Woody, who starred in 2 series, the sequel miniseries, and the comic we're looking at today. I think we've given everyone enough information. Let's dig right into Quantum and Woody number 1. Check out this cover. It's like they're the Wonder Twins or something.
Except without the crappy powers or the lack of dignity.
Oh, and what's with the goat?
Well, you know how some things in life are explained immediately and with proper details that make sense?
Yeah?
Yeah, that doesn't happen for a while.
Our story opens with two guys falling out of a high-rise. Didn't every buddy cop movie ever start out this way? I kind of like it. Very exciting. The caped guy yells at people to get out of the way, and if these people are anything like civilians in the Marvel Universe, they'll just rubberneck like it was no big deal. The other guy, who I assume is Woody, is offering another option. Break their fall. Our heroes, ladies and gentlemen.
These guys are not heroes.
I feel like I missed a step. Could you talk about the next page?
What we were seeing a page ago turns out to be just a news report about an explosion at Quantum Solutions, and I am guessing that there were a ton of censored bleeps for the broadcast, unless it was Fox News.
You love making fun of Fox News as much as I do. Good. Good. Let the hate flow through you.
The reporter talks about the men who fell, and an average man on the street says that if they were supposed to be superheroes, then they're the worst super team in history.
Dude's judging this based on one incident? He wouldn't last long in the Marvel Universe.
Are you capable of not talking about Marvel every 5 seconds?
No, yes.
Ms. Reporter Lady continues by saying that strange events in the city has citizens clamoring for real superheroes like those found in comic books. Though, she wonders if the mysterious duo calling themselves Quantum and Woody are really heroes, or if they are overgrown man-children playing a dangerous game. So she's basically J. Jonah Jameson.
Now who's making Marvel Comics references, Picture Boy? We then cut to a flashback that takes place in Quantum and Woody's formative school years. Woody apparently stood up for Quantum, or Eric as they are brothers, and says he's the only one who can call him offensive words. Their dad angrily charges in, and Eric says that whatever happened, they are the good guys. I have a feeling Daddy here isn't gonna see it that way.
Nope, mainly because we just jump back to the present. Eric and Woody's dad rushes to leave the office when he notices a file transfer taking longer than expected. Kind of like when I sent you this comic.
Don't remind me.
The old man says this is all the goodbyes he gets, and rushes out of his totaled office.
Soon he is greeted by an ominous shadow, and suddenly runs into some dude wearing a leather jacket. He looks kind of like Bluto, doesn't he? The only thing is that he has a hammer and sickle scar on his face. He grins and snaps the dude's neck. Once that is over, he reports to his superiors, who want the body brought in, all his data collected, and sabotage the machinery. I'm guessing this is where Quantum and Woody demand vengeance and go on a crusade to bring their father's murderer to justice. Right?
And not exactly. The day starts just as you would expect for Eric, learning Spanish as he works out, figuring out what to wear, and eating at his favorite diner. The waitress offers him coffee, and as he watches her, a thug with red hair demands all the money from the register. Hey Chris, this is the typical superhero story you wanted.
As much as I love that cliched cops and robbers story, I'm glad something's finally happening. Eric throws a perfectly good sugar shaker at the guy and tases the unlucky Ginger, much to the waitress's shock. He tackles him to the ground, and the waitress scolds him because the Ginger here is her boyfriend? What? Lady, there are certain things you shouldn't do in public, like yell bomb in an airport and fake a hold-up. Is this the creep you want fathering your kids? I'm glad to see Eric agrees with me. Fancy Pants here broke a couple of codes of conduct. He leaves the joint and gets a phone call.
Meanwhile, in New York, Woody seems to be enjoying himself with a very sexy young lady.
Looks like somebody saw Woody to me.
Clever. Woody's on the phone when there's a knock at the door. He ignores it and slips out of the bathroom window, leaving the lady to talk to two guys who wanted to bust Woody on credit card fraud.
At a nearby park, Woody watches some kids breakdance. Kids still breakdance? What?
Just keep summarizing the story.
Fine. Woody meets with a bookie who wants his money since he placed a bet on a Knicks game. Bad move. Always bet on the Celtics. Cops nearby call for Woody Henderson to come over. Wouldn't it have been easier to call him? How did they track him down? Anyway, the cops say they want to talk to him about his dad, Derek Henderson.
Back in DC, Eric attends his dad's funeral. It's small, but it is soon interrupted by Woody, who comes charging up the hill, wondering why Eric didn't call him first before the service happened. Common sense just doesn't seem to apply to this family. Woody seems understandably upset.
It turns out that Quantum thought Woody was dead and wants to know what his brother's doing there since he disappeared on him. Jeez, talk about dysfunctional families. Eric says that Mr. Henderson was his dad, not ours. This obviously upsets Woody and says he did such a great job looking out for him. Quantum gets angry and socks him in the jaw, Captain America style.
The brawl continues as it pours onto another nearby funeral. Wow, these guys have no taste. As you can expect, they are arrested a short time later.
Our heroes.
Again, these guys aren't heroes.
At the police station, a cop tells Quantum that the charges against him and his brother would be dropped, considering his circumstances. The cop, Detective Sejudo, asks both men about the research Mr. Henderson did. Woody says they didn't keep in touch, and Quantum never really was told about it, as he felt his dad thought he wouldn't understand it. She then asks if anyone stood to gain anything by his death. In fact, she outright asked where Woody was that night. I was with a very important client. We were having a debriefing. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Nice save.
Thanks.
Eric prepares to leave the station and is surprised to find Woody is still there. Woody tells Eric that though the cops are looking into the case, he doesn't put much stock into it, as they already consider the two of them suspects. Eric asks what they're supposed to do about it, and Woody wants to investigate. To start, they'd have to break into the lab, and Eric wants no part of that stupid plan. Woody then berates him and just says to forget it. Brotherly love.
Woody arrives at Quantum Industries in the hope of retrieving his father's things. He gets past the front gate and is soon greeted by a guard wondering if he's Mr. Henderson's son. He explains that he was adopted and the black sheep of the family when suddenly he chloroforms the guy. Finally, we get some action.
Action? That fight in the cemetery wasn't action enough?
Nah, I've seen way too many episodes of The Sopranos. Stuff like this happens every week.
The fight goes as well as you'd expect, as that was not chloroform. The guard executes a hip toss and calls for backup as Woody is thrown to the ground. However, he is suddenly zapped from behind with a taser.
Like every buddy cop movie, Woody wants to know what his partner's doing there, despite saving the guy's life. They banter a bit when the guard's radio goes off. Uh-oh, someone's in trouble. But wait, looks like Woody's making the save by impersonating the guy. His brother is shocked that it actually worked. Everything's fine here. How are you?
A Star Wars reference? Really?
I thought you'd like that. You do like Star Wars, right?
Well, yeah.
Then it works!
The brothers arrive at their dad's office to find a bunch of yellow tape, and after a bit of going through his things, they find a microdrive behind a picture frame. Quickly, they access it on the nearest computer. It turns out that there's a lot more information there than they have time to sift through. And, looks like Woody has the attention span of a squirrel as he ducks into a room he says is a Star Trek nerd's wet dream.
There's a naked picture of Jerry Ryan in there?
No.
Diana Muldaur?
God, no! And never speak of her again.
Cheerfully withdrawn. Inside the hidden laboratory, Woody plays with all of the buttons ever, and Eric says that the equipment is sensitive and not to be messed with. Uh-oh. This is how they get their superpowers, isn't it? Eric calls him reckless when he trips and hits a shiny, jolly red candy-like button. The doors slam shut, and the machine makes a sinister humming noise. Energy then crackles, and the two men suddenly become the Hulk!
Sometimes I think you enjoy doing narration.
Somebody's gotta put a show on around here.
Security alarms blare, and it turns out Detective Sajudo was already on the premises, investigating the murder. She then confirms 2 armed suspects. Inside the lab, the energy bombards the 2 men as they frantically try to find a way out. Oh man, always got me doing it.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, be quiet, you. Woody stumbles upon some special containment suits, but tragically there is only one. In a brave act, Eric wants him to wear the suit since he was the one who set the thing off. See, Chris, this is brotherly love.
Oh, really? Looks like Woody just swiped the suit and is ready to bail. Eric is rightfully mad at him, and the two fight over the suit until it rips. Uh-oh. Looks like no one's getting the thing now. The panels gradually fade to white as the two brothers apologize. The energy overtakes them, and finally, the comic ends.
Oh, this isn't the end.
No?
We've still got 2 more pages left. Come on, chop chop. The building explodes in a brilliant flash of light. Debris is everywhere, and we see Eric unconscious but with a bracelet on his arm. He calls out for Woody as the dust clears.
The dust finally settles, and our comic ends with 2 grown men naked and surrounded by cops. Interesting superhero story. Quantum and Woody's reboot is interesting, to say the least. Let's take a closer look.
I have to say that while I like this comic, it suffers from the problem that most modern comics suffer, being written for the trades, meaning that we only get one part of the story, and because this is the origin story, we don't get much superheroics from our main leads. However, that doesn't mean we don't get to know these characters. It's a classic double act. Eric is the black guy, and with a military-grade stick up his ass that makes him the perfect straight man to Woody, who is the mega slacker that is, in many ways, an asshole, but not an irredeemable asshole. The 2 of them work well together, and we get a feeling that they were once close, but time has driven them apart.
I agree. Besides, out of all of the Valiant comics John showed me this month, I think I like this series the best. The 2 are an unconventional double act of lovable scoundrels, and I recommend anyone interested in seeing this kind of humor and story to check it out. It's a fun ride, and I'm pretty sure you can pick up the trade anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of any of the other big companies. This book will strike a chord with you for its human characters and surprisingly bright colors. Take it from a Marvel fan that this is one book worth checking out. In this age of reboots and reimagining of comic characters, Quantum and Woody definitely delivers. Quantum and Woody number 1 is...
Hey guys. What are you gonna do? Chris, that's a 3DS. What, are you gonna summon a Pokemon? And John, that's a scientific instrument, not a water pistol.
Sorry, I'm just a little on edge. I'm still recovering from the timey-wimey thing you sent me on.
Timey-wimey?
I have no idea where he gets all that stuff from.
Well, I just wanted to thank Chris for... Wait, if we're all here, who's administrating the Comic Book Issues Facebook group?
Back to work, John. We need to delete all those repeated threads.
Right! We've got memes to delete. After all, we are the dictators of comic book issues.
It's so hard to find good help these days. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. I'll see you next time on Comic Book Issues. I'm your host, The Last Angry Geek.
Hey, this is my show.
Damn, I almost got away with it this time.